The creature with 500 eyes, life before eyes evolved. Close your eyes for a second. Imagine a world where sight doesn't exist. No color, no form, no shadows, just darkness and instinct. Now open them. That moment, when light becomes sensation, is one of the most powerful leaps life on Earth ever took. And it all began in the shallow oceans over 500 million years ago, when one creature opened not 2 eyes, but hundreds. Today, we're traveling back to the Cambrian Period, a time so alien it might as well have been another planet. This is the story of the first vision, of creatures so strange they make science fiction look tame, and of one monster with nearly 500 eyes that turned darkness into dominance. This isn't fantasy. This is Earth, 500 million years ago. Chapter 1, Before the Eyes. Long before the world saw its first tree or dinosaur, the oceans were home to soft, slow creatures, blobs that grazed the seafloor, soaking up sunlight and nutrients, guided only by the most primitive senses. These were the animals of the Ediacaran. No bones, no teeth, and no eyes. They didn't need to see because nothing was hunting them. But something changed. The Earth was shifting. Chemical signals in the water no longer told the full story. Touch wasn't enough. The game of survival had begun, and with it came the need for a new weapon. Chapter 2, When Sight Was Born. The Cambrian explosion was less an explosion and more a biological uprising. In the blink of an evolutionary eye, life invented skeletons, claws, teeth, and motion. But the real revolution came when creatures began to sense light. Not just feel it, but see it. Early eyes were simple, just light-sensitive patches. But evolution doesn't stay still for long. As predators sharpened their claws, prey sharpened their sight. What began as a shadow became a shape. What was once a blur became a target. And then came the weird ones. Chapter 3, The Alien with 500 Eyes. Imagine a creature no longer than a human hand, skimming the seafloor like a UFO. Its name? Opabinia. 5 eyes on stalks, a trunk-like mouth that reached out like a claw. It looked like a dream drawn by someone who had never seen Earth before. But even Opabinia wasn't the strangest. That title goes to the trilobite. Trilobites weren't just armored scavengers. Some had eyes made up of hundreds of lenses, each one a tiny window into the world. Their compound eyes gave them panoramic vision. Some trilobites may have had nearly 500 visual units across their 2 eyes. Not eyes like ours, but a living surveillance system. Imagine never being surprised. Imagine seeing danger before it was even danger. In a time when life was experimenting wildly, trilobites won the early vision game. Chapter 4, The Predator with Supervision. But sight wasn't just for defense. There was another creature lurking in the Cambrian seas, sleek, fast, hungry. Its name was Anomalocaris, the nightmare of its time. Anomalocaris didn't have just good vision. It had the best. 2 massive eyes, each with over 16,000 lenses. It didn't just see movement. It could track, stalk, and strike. Its spiked limbs reached out like alien tentacles, grabbing anything that dared to move. It was nature's first true hunter, and its eyes made it lethal. A world without color. But here's where the story turns. These ancient eyes, as powerful as they were, didn't see the world like we do. They didn't see color. They didn't marvel at sunsets or coral reefs. The Cambrian oceans were likely a pale, shifting wash of contrast and motion. Life saw shadows, not hues. Contrast, not beauty. Yet even in this colorless world, eyes gave power. Eyes created fear. Eyes forced brains to evolve, bodies to adapt, strategies to form. Chapter 6, The Evolutionary Ripple. Once vision appeared, it couldn't be stopped. Eyes created predators. Predators created prey. Prey created speed. Speed created nervous systems. Nervous systems created minds. In a way, eyes led to thought. They made it necessary to process information faster. They gave shape to awareness. They turned organisms into organisms that could react, then predict, then plan. And all of it began because something, somewhere, one day, sensed light. The legacy of light. When you blink today, you're performing an ancient ritual, a behavior passed down from the first creatures who dared to see. But the creatures of the Cambrian, they weren't just early prototypes. They were experiments in what life could be. Some had 5 eyes, some had 500, some had no idea what they were looking at, but they looked anyway. The creatures that saw for the first time gave us more than just sight. They gave us depth, strategy, motion, fear, and maybe even imagination. But here's the question we still don't know how to answer. If life evolved sight so explosively here, what might it see on other planets? And are eyes, those glimmering watching windows, universal? Or are we just lucky to have ever opened them? If that journey through deep time left you with questions, you're not alone. Like the creatures of the Cambrian, we're still opening our eyes. So hit that like button to help others discover this story. Subscribe if you crave more hidden chapters of Earth's forgotten past. And drop a comment. Which of these alien pioneers of vision would you want to meet? Because the farther we look back, the stranger the truth becomes.